Alright, I may be a day late, but I sure as heck ain't $1 short. My Hero Academia Season 7, Episode 13, quite literally was filled with so much stuff to break down and analyze. For one, is this the end of Shigaraki as a character? Will he become just another lost quirk in the sea tactics of quirks that is All For One? We'll get into the meat of that in this video, but as well, so much more. So enough burning the midnight oil. Let's do this. Alright, so this episode obviously picks up from episode 12 as Deku is trying to get to the UA in a rush. Now, while headed that way, AFO's brother warns him about his brother's quirks increasing. I also thought this was really cool that on the way, Deku receives some help from the American military fleet. That was easily one of the coolest parts in the initial episodes of season 7. They also did this ignoring orders to retreat and stay in Japan. So it shows that the desperation that the world is currently in, and that means something when it's Americans who are telling you they are counting on you. But as well, they remember Star and the sacrifice that she made. And that's pretty significant that the world sees, in my opinion, Shigaraki as the worst villain in history. This goes to show how grave of a threat he is. Lemillion then shows his butt to Shigaraki as Deku slingshots into punching him so hard, he skips on the ground as he hits the electric grid, shocking him. However, Deku, turning around, expects to have his friends there, just like they always had his back before, but he instead sees them all severely injured. Now, Bakugo, as an example, he's maybe a little bit more than injured. He has a hole in his chest, but I cannot imagine what it must be like for Deku because his friends had always had his back, so seeing them pretty much decimated and maimed like they are is significant because Deku never really has had to deal with stuff like this. Sure, he's dealt with his friends being injured, but this is a little different. They're not getting back up anytime soon. This causes Deku to lose control of his powers in a scene that, to me, harkens a little bit back to Dragon Ball Z to some degree, with Goku first turning Super Saiyan. But as he loses control, what's left of Shigaraki/AFO taunts him as he plans to quite literally snap Deku in half. But Deku has someone still conscious there to support and help him. Lemillion tells him that it's all right, that he understands how Deku can't forgive himself. And by the way, oh my god, the music in this scene is so good, holy crap. But he understands how he feels because that's what villains do. They instill fear into people. They divide, and that is how they conquer. They make you feel like everyone else is out to get you, or as Deku is experiencing, that he isn't enough, and that this is all his fault, and that further isolates a person from reasonability, from society, and obviously from his friends. It's quite demented how villains always do this, but that is the core essence of what a villain is. He essentially tells Deku that despite these feelings that it's okay because ultimately everyone is still breathing, and for those who are hurt, well, there are others he can rely on to help save lives, like Edgeshot, who is trying to save Bakugo's who, oh my god, I don't envy Bakugo right now with the hole in his chest, and Deku would be wise to not forget that everyone went into this fight knowing the stakes, knowing that they could die. I mean, it's not like this was some hidden thing from them. It is their reality as heroes. And just because the men and women who are protected are down and out, they've not lost yet. They've not given up yet. And that's why Deku shouldn't lose faith yet. And I love Shigaraki's response because it perfectly shows how the ideals these villains live by are actually hurting themselves too. In the same ways it affected Deku, it has for Shigaraki done untold damage, and the same for AFO. The point Lemillion to me is trying to make is that you can't give up in the uncertainty of conflict. Instead, you must sort of embrace it and have a strong support system to back you up when the going gets rough. Count on them and count on yourself to provide that same relief. And I also love the flashbacks to All Might and the others who rebuff the lip service comment from Shigaraki, because at the end of the day, words are words, right? True heroes back up what they say with tangible lines of support and attack. They act while the villains yap. So as the one for all ghosts tell him it's okay to get mad, Deku regains control of himself because anger really is a source of power, a fuel he can channel into the real things that matter. But with that power, it does need to be controlled. He must control his heart and remember his original purpose, because as we see, when he does, Deku is able to face off against Shigaraki with a lot of renewed energy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I'm a partner with GamerSubs. By using code CTactics, you will get 10% off all orders site-wide. I personally recommend the Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Energy flavor, and while you're there, pick up one of their waifu cups. Thank you to GamerSubs for being an incredible partner. However, the next scene is very interesting because it pertains to what is left of Shigaraki, as this abomination in front of us tells Deku that there is nothing left of him as they've melded into one to create a new being. But it's interesting because it seems Shigaraki is trying to escape AFO, which I think is an interesting way to frame his character so far in this arc. I think right now it's pretty clear that Shigaraki is more or less his own entity that's being controlled by AFO's will. So maybe Horikoshi is planning to have Shigaraki break free of AFO and kill him himself. This would pretty much cement Shigaraki as the guy to beat, the true villain who would even break free from the chains of control and slaughter his own mentor. To me, that's a really cool story to tell, and obviously AFO deserves it. However, they surmise that Shigaraki must still be in there because of the previous episodes where Shigaraki had moments of clarity where he broke through and was distressed, almost like a little kid, which harkens actually back to the Shigaraki origin story, so I'm glad they keep doing that because that's like one of my favorite origin stories. I think Lemillion is right, of course, but once again, how in the heck would this even play out? That's what I'm most invested in. But the fight is underway as Shigaraki and Deku clash in this insane fight that razes the ground itself, and they've got 5 minutes to beat Shigaraki as Deku uses Top Gear to uppercut him multiple times. And I felt, honestly, that most of the animation in this episode was pretty good, but this lacked to some degree. Like, it could have been more impactful, but it was still good because holy crap, right after he hits Shigaraki with Detroit Smash at 120%, and I just, oh wow, what an incredible moments from Bones here. Not one of their best, but really good. This leads into a scene where AFO finally sees the spirits of the OFA as he is stricken down to the ground. This is where we learn that Gear Shift has become even stronger as OFA grows. Instead of using it on only one object, Deku is now able to use it on multiple, and this is huge because Deku is essentially able to output even more damage than before. And we see that as Deku uses Detroit Smash once again as Shigaraki realizes, oh boy, he's screwed, and all he can do is try to counter this attack, but it's all in vain as the speed of Deku is just too much for him as he uses yet another quirk, Smoke Screen, to jump through the smoke, using Danger Sense to block the incoming counter from Shigaraki, and hit Overdrive again to once and for all, while this incredible sequence with all of the ghosts of OFA are channeled into All for One. Oh my god, this incredible and insane sequence. Whew. Oh god, I'm getting the vapors. I gotta start fidget spinning. After quite literally having a hole punched through himself, Deku is reminded by OFA that he has to remember that he needs to have the resolve to kill someone who cannot be redeemed. And he doesn't know what to do, but he knows that his will is to save that kid as Shigaraki literally crumbles, hating everything, blaming all of his anger on everyone and everyone else but himself, while Deku is driven by a desire to save Shigaraki. And Shigaraki is driven by his desire to destroy and corrupt for ill-conceived vengeance. But something goes wrong. Someone wants out of Shigaraki, and I think it may be AFO. And it makes sense, as in this episode, they've set up that Shigaraki is being kept inside of AFO, metaphorically speaking. So I think we're headed for AFO splitting from Shigaraki, which again is where I think Shigaraki will turn on AFO, absorb him himself even, like Majin Buu or something, because pure evil incarnate reasons. And heck, he may even become more evil than AFO himself. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the next episode with Shigaraki and AFO. Are they splitting up or are they sticking together to channel the great Taylor Swift? As well, if this video gets 250 likes, I will do a short video on my thoughts on the first 12 episodes of Season 7 that I missed this week. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'll see you guys next week for episode 14. Bye-bye.